Welcome to Laws of Indices Level 4. Pause the video now, try the 3 problems on the screen, and I'll go through them with you shortly. You'll find more practice at this level, plus links to the higher levels, as well as other topics, at the end of this video and on the channel homepage. In problem 1, we're evaluating 4/7 raised to the power of -2. Since we have a fraction raised to a negative power here, we can use this law, which tells us that we can rewrite 4/7 to the power of -2 as 7/4 raised to the power of +2. Now we can also rewrite 7 as 7 to the power of 1 and 4 as 4 to the power of 1. And this allows us to see that we're raising powers to powers. So to do this, we're going to use this law, which tells us that to simplify this, we have to multiply the powers together. So starting with our numerator, 1 times 2 is 2. So the numerator becomes 7 to the power of 2. And in our denominator, 1 times 2 is 2 again. So this becomes 4 to the power of 2. 7 to the power of 2 is 7 times 7, which is 49. 4 to the power of 2 is 4 times 4, which is 16. And so our final answer for problem 1 is 49/16. In problem 2, we're evaluating 64/125 raised to the power of 2/3. Now to start with, we can rewrite 64/125 as 64 to the power of 1 over 125 to the power of 1. And this is all raised to the power of 2/3. And writing it in this way makes it clear that we're raising powers to powers, which means we're going to use this law, which tells us that to simplify this, we have to multiply the powers together. So this becomes 64 to the power of 1 times 2/3, which is 2/3, over 125 to the power of 1 times 2/3, which is 2/3. Since our numerator and denominator both have fractional powers on, we're going to use this law. And the law tells us that the numerator of each fraction is the power and the denominator is the root. So this allows us to rewrite 64 to the power of 2/3 as 64 to the power of 2, and then the cube root of that. And in a very similar way, 125 to the power of 2/3 becomes 125 to the power of 2, and again, we take the cube root of that. Now starting with the cube roots, the cube root of 64 is 4, because 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So the numerator becomes 4, still with a power of 2 on it. And in our denominator, the cube root of 125 is 5, because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125, and this also has a power of 2 still on it. Simplifying further, 4 squared is equal to 16. 5 squared is equal to 25, and so the answer to problem 2 is 16/25. In problem 3, we're evaluating 81/16 raised to the power of -3/4. To start, since we have a fraction raised to a negative power, we're going to use this law, which tells us that 81/16 raised to the power of -3/4 can be rewritten as 16/81 raised to the power of +3/4. We can also rewrite 16/81 as 16 to the power of 1 over 81 to the power of 1 to see really clearly that we're raising powers to powers here. And since we're doing that, we're going to use this law, which tells us that when we raise a power to another power, we multiply the two together. So starting with our numerator, 1 multiplied by 3/4 is 3/4. So this becomes 16 to the power of 3/4. And once again, multiplying 1 by 3/4 in our denominator gives us 81 to the power of 3/4. Since the 16 and the 81 both have fractional powers on, we're going to use this law. And the law tells us that the numerator of each of those fractions is the power and the denominator is the root. So we can rewrite 16 to the power of 3/4 as 16 to the power of 3, and then take the 4th root of that. And 81 to the power of 3/4 becomes 81 to the power of 3, and then the 4th root of that. Starting with the fourth roots and starting with the numerator, the fourth root of 16 is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, and this still has a power of 3 on it. And taking the fourth root of 81, we get 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81, and that also still has a power of 3 on it. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, and 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. So our final answer for problem 3 is 8/27.